This is Saraloosa, 13.5 hectares in the Overberg, Western Cape. I moved here 10 years ago with a vision that was probably too large and certainly too optimistic. Some of it has worked, some of it has humbled me completely. What you're about to see is what it actually looks like to build something from the ground, with the ground, over a decade of showing up. The property sits between wildlands and a residential area. When I arrived, I saw a living laboratory, a place where regenerative agriculture, community, and a kind of stubborn hope could coexist. That vision hasn't changed. The timeline has had opinions of its own. Everything here starts with water. We've dug ponds, shaped swales, built systems to slow the flow across the landscape so it sinks into the soil rather than running off it. And we means people like Efron, whose messaging about irrigation moves at 8 in the evening and confirming handovers past midnight. This is daily work, often nightly work, the kind that doesn't photograph well because it mostly looks like mud and tired hands. There are no shortcuts on a regenerative farm. Invasive species don't clear themselves. Compost doesn't move itself. Fences have a talent for falling apart at the least convenient moment. The community here is defined by one thing: the willingness to engage directly with the land and do what needs doing, even when what needs doing is unglamorous and unending. The philosophy is simple. Use what you have. Feed the soil before you ask it to feed you. Grow as wide a variety as the land will support. Old tires become planters. Animal manure becomes compost. The diversity of what grows here, from potatoes to medicinal herbs, is the resilience. Monocultures are fragile. We can't afford fragile. And then there are the days that make it all worth it. The days when someone walks in carrying a pumpkin the size of a small child, and the whole farm grins. The harvest is the tangible proof that the system works, that the soil is responding, that the hours of labor have landed somewhere real. The animals are partners here, whether they know it or not. Goats and cattle manage the landscape through grazing, produce manure for compost, and occasionally produce milk when they're in the mood to cooperate. The pigs still the soil and close the loop on food waste. The chickens and ducks handle pest control and eggs. Every animal has a role. Even the rooster, whose role appears to be reminding everyone he exists. A truly sustainable system doesn't flinch from the full circle. We celebrate births. We also make hard decisions about when an animal's time has come to feed the community and the dogs that are part of it. Nothing here is taken for granted. That honesty is part of what makes this place real. Saraloosa is built by people, a diverse group learning to share skills, share space, share the weight of keeping something like this running. Tractor lessons happen next to beekeeping. Someone who arrived knowing nothing about fencing is now the one teaching others. That transfer of knowledge is what makes a community resilient, more than any single piece of infrastructure. This is what a day on the farm actually sounds like. Morning milking invitations, hay deliveries, irrigation handovers that stretch past midnight. It's unglamorous and repetitive, and it's the real pulse of the place. These messages are the farm's heartbeat. Logged 1, I'll do the next move at a time. It's not always pumpkins and progress. Gates break and get sworn at, spectacularly at 7 in the morning. Eggs hatch wrong. Cobras show up uninvited. Fire season is a constant background hum of anxiety. The path to resilience runs directly through these moments, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. For every breakdown, there's a response. A broken oxen yoke threatened to halt the hay transport. The community repaired it within a day, and the oxen were back at work. That's the pattern here. Something breaks, someone figures it out, the work continues. The resilience isn't a philosophy statement. It's a reflex. The work continues. Better water infrastructure, expanded fencing, value-added production, cheese from the milk, chutney from the tomatoes, bread baked in a poiki. These aren't distant ambitions. Dominique is already making cheese. The tomatoes are already growing. The question is whether we can sustain the momentum through the lean stretch to get there. Which brings me to why I'm sharing this. Saraloosa is real. The work is happening. The people are here. What we're short on is the financial runway to keep going while the revenue streams I'm building catch up to the costs of keeping a 13-hectare operation alive. If anything you've seen here resonates, there are a few ways to be part of this. You can visit my website or Ko-fi page, where you'll find more of the Saraloosa story alongside my other work, which includes writing, music, the Sociable Systems newsletter, AI governance training materials, experimental games, and voice agent applications. There's plenty to explore there that might appeal on its own terms. And alongside all of that, there's a simple way to contribute directly if you're moved to do so. Every bit of support buys hay or fencing wire or another month of electricity for a farm that's trying to prove something worth proving.